CM Punk and Kevin Owens are scheduled to battle for the Undisputed WWE Championship this Friday on SmackDown in Toronto. Kevin Owens made the decision to have the match in Toronto so his family could attend. He said in an interview this week that his mother can't travel as much anymore, but she's going to be there this Friday night to see him potentially win the title from CM Punk. Owens returned at SummerSlam 2026 after missing 17 months of action due to a broken neck. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis added him to the number one contenders match featuring Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. Gunther and Kevin Owens got added at SummerSlam, and Kevin Owens won the match by hitting Sami Zayn with a stunner, and he's set to battle CM Punk for the title on SmackDown. Last week on SmackDown, CM Punk and Kevin Owens had a verbal confrontation in the ring, and their storied history of hatred was hinted at. Owens brought up Punk berating him in the past and made it clear that's why he hated him. But let's take a look back. Let's take a deep dive into the 20-year rivalry between CM Punk and Kevin Owens and find out, do they really hate each other? CM Punk and Kevin Owens both worked in Ring of Honor before making it to WWE in 2005. Punk was getting ready to leave Ring of Honor for WWE, but this is when he berated Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was wearing a t-shirt. He still wears a t-shirt. He's a bigger guy. It fits him. CM Punk didn't like it, took it as disrespectful. In an interview with High Spots, Owens talked about the incident and noted that they barely knew each other at the time. Punk told him not to wrestle in a shirt, which of course made Owens want to do it more, but he decided not to, and then after the match, he jokingly said to CM Punk, "Are you happy now?" Very sarcastic, and Punk did not enjoy the joke. He took it personally. He berated Kevin Owens, called him disrespectful. We can assume he called him fat, but here are Kevin Owens' words. I'm like, I definitely shouldn't wear the shirt, and I didn't. And when I got to the back after my match, I didn't know what happened. Man, I was blown up, so maybe it came off rude, but I wasn't trying to be rude. Punk was looking at me, and I looked at him and said, "Are you happy now?" I was really just trying to kid around with him, but he took exception to it and reamed me out in front of the whole locker room. So Owens referenced that during the promo last week, so he's held on to that grudge for 2 decades. Owens was later interviewed by Title Match Wrestling, and he cleared the air on the situation, said there was no issues between himself and Punk anymore. It's water under the bridge, and suggested it was like it never happened, which clearly wasn't true, as it was brought up in their promo last week.
Me, and he said I was disrespectful and all this stuff, and for what it's worth, if I had been in his position, maybe I would have thought the same. It was no big deal, but the next day online is being reported we almost came to blows, and which is not true.
But look, there are countless stories about CM Punk taking things personal, getting heated backstage, and I say that as a fan of the guy. It's undeniable. So I believe Kevin Owens' version of events here. CM Punk probably lost his cool, and Kevin Owens probably apologized just to bury the hatchet and move on. Kevin Owens also subtly made a reference to the Elite during their promo last week on SmackDown. If you've been living under a rock, just the quickest of recaps, CM Punk returned to AEW in 2021, fought Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks at All Out 2022 because he thought they were leaking stuff to Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Observer, like, getting Colt Cabana fired, which turned out not to be true, and Tony Khan denied it over and over again, but I don't know if I believe Tony Khan either at this point. But when Punk debuted in AEW in 2021, it was perfect timing. This was Vince McMahon. He was losing his marbles. It was clear he had lost touch. AEW found the perfect guy to go against that. The out-of-date, the crappy version of wrestling Vince McMahon was putting on. You bring CM Punk into AEW. They get a real shot to overtake WWE, right? Wrong, of course. It all went terribly after All Out 2022. After CM Punk defeated Jon Moxley, MJF showed up. We had teasing another match between those two stars. We never got that. But someone leaked to Dave Meltzer that CM Punk was the reason Colt Cabana got fired. And Punk flipped out at the press conference after All Out 2022, brawled with the Elite. Ace Steel bit somebody and threw a chair. It was wild times, but it led to all of them getting suspended. AEW leadership never resolved the situation, never got anybody into a room. Thus, it wasn't resolved, and Punk returned for the debut episode of Collision, and 2 months later, he was fired at AEW All In 2023 in Wembley Stadium for fighting with Jack Perry. Then he returned to WWE at Survivor Series 2023, the biggest social media video WWE has ever had, pretty much, and the rest is history. Punk's issues with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks were subtly referenced by Kevin Owens during their promo last week on SmackDown. He said he didn't like how Punk treated some of the people closest to him. Punk was like, you're going to have to be more specific. You're going to have to name names here, basically daring Kevin Owens to name the Elite, which would have been electric if he did, but he didn't. But we all knew what he meant, and CM Punk responded in the only way he could.
Being hated by losers is the price I pay for not being one of them.
Being hated by losers is the price I pay for not being one of them. So CM Punk got the last laugh on that, but I wish they delved into that more. I wish they did that with Cody Rhodes as well, because he started AEW with the Elite. I was hoping to get some AEW references in CM Punk's rivalry with Cody Rhodes. We didn't get it, and we barely got one with Kevin Owens and CM Punk's rivalry as well. But it's obvious that CM Punk has no remorse for his actions in AEW, and he thinks they're all losers. Now let's get to if they actually hate each other, because there's clearly real tension between CM Punk and Kevin Owens. They don't like each other. Kevin Owens said on an interview this week, we don't gel. There's certain people I'm not compatible with. CM Punk is one of them, which makes sense. But the beauty of this is that they're working together. They're using that heat to get fans invested. That didn't happen in AEW. It's happening in WWE now. Kevin Owens, while probably agreeing with everything the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega have ever said about CM Punk, he's able to look past all of his issues and make a bunch of money and put on a great match for the fans, which was something a lot of wrestling fans, myself included, were pleading for AEW to do when CM Punk was there. But like I said, Kevin Owens is a professional. Same with Drew McIntyre. He absolutely hates CM Punk legitimately. They don't like each other. But he said in an interview with Chris Van Vliet that his rivalry with CM Punk was his masterpiece. He's been chasing the dragon ever since, trying to find a rivalry that gets fans invested, that brings out the best in him, and he hasn't been able to find it since. I'd say the same for CM Punk in WWE. I really enjoyed his match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42, but I think Drew McIntyre is still his best rivalry since coming back. But McIntyre has said for years and years that he can't stand Punk, but yet when he came back, they put that hatred aside and worked together to create a magical rivalry that will be remembered for years to come. So now Kevin Owens has the chance to become undisputed WWE champion in front of his family by defeating CM Punk. It would be an epic moment for Owens. I'm kind of rooting for it, to be honest. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love to see it. But at least Kevin Owens is working with CM Punk, putting that dislike aside for the greater good, if you will. So while there's a real dislike between Kevin Owens and CM Punk, it can't rise to the level of hatred because they're working together. And there also appears to be real respect between the two stars. Even though they don't like each other, they respect each other's talent. So when Kevin Owens and CM Punk step into the ring on Friday night, we're not watching two guys who have pretended to hate each other for 20 years. We're watching guys with real history, real tension, and things that neither one of them have been able to let go in 2 decades. After all these years, all the talking, all the shots, Kevin Owens and CM Punk are finally going to settle their differences once and for all this Friday night on SmackDown. That's it for this video. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Have a good one.